That's how the show starts, ladies and gentlemen, just like that. Welcome to Friday. It is Friday night here on the Paranormal Portal, and hope you had a great rest of your week, however it went for you. Hope it went well. And thank you so much for being here with me as we dive into our Friday show, which is 2 full hours. We're going to do a creature feature tonight since the last couple live shows, we haven't really spent much time on the cryptids, so I thought I'd give you guys a mega dose of cryptids tonight, and we'll get into some other stuff as well. Obviously, we're going to do the news. We're going to do maybe a couple of ghost things. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll definitely dive into a bunch of cryptid reports and encounters from both Sasquatch Chronicles and phantomsandmonsters.com. So I don't know about you, but it's a heap and helping of fun right here on the portal. And I'm excited to bring it to you. Thank you so much, guys, for spending time in here on your valuable weekends. Today was a pill. Too many call-outs, so way too busy. Well, I'm glad you made it, Elaine. Elaine Clifford is here. John Stevenson is here. John Temperance. We got the Johns represented. Gruntardo just popped in. Sinfully Wicked. How you doing? And I'm just seeing the names flying here. Rachel gets it right. I know Grateful Owl was the first one through the door tonight, which is cool. Welcome. Everybody I've said so far. I know Sarah in Disguise is here, as well as I saw Aussie Tiprat popped in. Cecil Webb Jr. is here. Just Insane is here. And scrolling. And I'm still scrolling. And Ron the Sage, how you doing, Ron? Good to see you. Good to see all you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. And I'm just looking for anybody I might have missed as I'm scrolling through the chats that are popping up kind of rapidly now. So you guys are talking a bunch. But that's so far who's in the door. And many others of you are out there just watching, and that's fine. You don't need to chat. If you should choose not to, you certainly have that option. I'm going to roll up my sleeves because it's time to get creepy. Well, maybe spooky is a better word. I should not use creepy. I don't know what it is about that word. It keeps popping into my head. You don't even think of creepy and kooky, mysterious, nooky. They're all together. Kooky, the Addams Family. Sorry. But creepy comes into my head all the time. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. Kind of sounds, well, I think we all know creepy people. And not many people like those people. So anyway, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything I wanted to announce. Oh, tomorrow night I got a guest joining me here on the portal for 2 full hours of fun, and I am going to have Paranormal Paul is going to be here, and he, if you're not familiar with him, he's a good friend of Tex from Texas Front Porch, and the Blondes and Booze and all of them. So he's going to come hang out with us. And before that, I'm going to be on his show. So if you're capable of it, look for that and join us. I don't know what he's going to ask me or what if it's just going to be a general interview again, or if he's going to dial it into specific things. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to meet the guy. I've never talked to him personally. So it'll be fun to get together and have basically a marathon with Paranormal Paul tomorrow night. So that should be cool. Haven't done that for a long time, going one show to another show. Not since the Kev Baker days, during the Friday the 13th marathons that we'd do. 3 hours on Kev's show and then 2 hours on mine all together, switching shows, and it was great. So this will be kind of a blast from the past. I think Paul's shows go about hour to 90 minutes, and then it'll be about, well, either 45 minutes to a half hour, and then my show will launch with him as the guest. So I don't know. It's going to be a little bit of a whiplash tomorrow night, but it should be a great time. I'm sure he's a wonderful guy, and I'm looking forward to it. Tex kind of introduced us, so that'll be fun. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not, but hopefully you enjoy him, and we'll check out his show and subscribe and get involved in what he's doing as well. So we got a lot to go. Josh Castro just came in. Josh Casto. Sorry about that, Josh. I mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry. But I got it right now. I am Kat Doherty came in. Good to see you, Kat. And I'm looking to see Cool Hand came in. Good to see a Cool Hand. And anybody else? I think that brings us. Talowich is in here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. That's wonderful. That's fun to see these new names that are popping back in, and they're becoming familiar names. That means you're becoming family, so that's good. I like that. I like it when our family grows and we get to meet and have more people in the party here. So I think that's it for the names popping up. If anybody else has come in and you want to shout out, just say something in the chat. I'm just kind of scrolling here. Casey Jones Astrology came in. Karen Alberding came in. And wonderful to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. David Martin, how you doing, David? Thanks for coming in and being a part of the journey tonight. And it's great. Great. It just makes me feel all warm and cuddly inside. Makes me feel good. I feel special. Thank you guys for being a part of the journey tonight. We already reached 100 messages in our live chat, so you guys are setting some benchmarks here. We get those little awards on the screen from Restream. It gives us little trophies like, yeah, people are talking. Hey, Josh, he became a member. Outstanding, brother. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really, really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And it goes a long way to help the show. So, that means the world to me. I just some fair warning. I don't do a lot of member functions yet. And I really do mean to. I really feel bad, but we do t-shirt giveaways. We do t-shirt giveaways every month for members of the channel. So hope you will maybe win one of those. But I hope the same for all of our members that haven't already won it. But at any rate, great to see you. Todd came in. The more the merrier. Absolutely. Became a member last week. Aw, thank you, Sinfully Wicked. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You guys make me feel so special. I know that sounds cheeky, but I couldn't be more sincere. That's just awesome. You guys are amazing. And so we got the news to get to next. So I guess we'll get to the news. You know what? We might do the question of the week tonight, because if we got a guest tomorrow night, I don't know what we're going to do on the show when he's on, but we're probably going to talk about paranormal stuff all night for 2 hours. So we may not have time for that tomorrow night. So maybe we'll get to that tonight. Maybe we'll do the Discord question of the week tonight. That just occurred to me. I'm like, ooh, how are we going to squeeze that in? So maybe we'll do it tonight, a night early. If you haven't already answered the question of the week, you might want to get over there and do that in our Discord server. And the link is in the description below. So check it out. Would love to have you join over there. That'd be fantastic. So anyway, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to take a wandering journey into the Paranormal Portal news. So buckle up. I'm about to news you up. Okay, silly question. Where do I become a member different from subscribing? There should be like a $ thing below, where right next to where you chat. If you click that, you can sign up to become a member. And if you can, and there's no pressure, guys. I know it's a tough time for all of us, so I mean, there's no pressure. If you can't become a member, that's fine. There's lots of ways to support the show. One of the greatest ways is just to like the stream if you're here watching it live, or if you're here watching it when it's not live. And if you're not watching it when it's not live, leave a comment. That helps a bunch too. Both of those things show the algorithm on YouTube that, hey, not only are people watching this show, but they're participating. And so that really helps to get promoted in the algorithm. So it really does serve a purpose. Live, not love. Well, love too. Lots of love to all you guys. Live and love live. Love, live, live. I'm such an idiot. All right. On a fixed income, unfortunately. Hey, brother, I'm with you. I mean, I'm just keeping the lights burning here. So I wish I was rolling in the dough from doing all of this, but honestly, I'm not. But making a living, but it's not like I'm driving a Porsche or anything. I drive a car from 2004, and that's the only car I have. So I'm not stacking cash here, believe me. But I still love doing it. It's an incredible It's an incredible privilege to be doing this for what I do for my living. And you guys make it amazing. So thank you so much. Enough of that. Let's get to the news, as I was telling you before. And now I mean it. Now I'm all about it. So it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the news. 2001. I hear you. Ghostbox said doll. D-O-L-L. It's kind of interesting. The only news John Stevenson trusts. God bless you. Pickles and Peanut Butter 2566. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Makes me love what you do more. Not doing it for the money, but because you love it. Yeah, thank you, Talowich. I mean, I don't know. It's like, everybody's got a calling in life, and it took me forever to find mine, but here I am. It's interesting the ghost box said doll, because last show I opened on the air our new addition to the Paranormal Portal studio, and we still haven't named him. This is a little voodoo doll that Sinfully Wicked sent in. She made it. And I need a name. He's even comes with a needle. Little needle here. I'm kind of hesitant to stab it too much because I don't want to incur that karma. So maybe that's what the ghost box is saying. Look, we need a name for this doll. So help me name him. Let's I don't know how we would do this. How do I do this? I wonder if I can do a poll. Maybe I can. I don't know. I'll have to think about this. Maybe I'll do it in maybe we'll do it in Discord, actually. Maybe we'll do it in Discord. Name the doll poll or suggestion box, and then you guys can vote on it. The one with the most likes will become the name of the doll. So if you're not a member of the Discord server and you want to be a part of naming this voodoo doll, handcrafted by Sinfully Wicked, then please join the Discord and join that conversation. Rachel, I don't know if you could set that up. Could you set up I don't know where we would do it. Maybe it should be a separate thread, or maybe show discussion. Maybe one of the show discussion. Just create a new thread on there. Name the doll. The one with the most likes wins. Here's the doll. Get a good look at it. Beautifully handcrafted. Fine work. And even has a bow tie. That is so awesome. I just think it's so cool. I've got a lot of great things you guys have sent me to the P.O. box. Showed a few of them last week, or last show. Last show? When did I do it? On Wednesday. On Wednesday, I opened a couple things. Showed you some stuff that was sent in and gifted to me, either in person or through the P.O. box. So this is one of them. Thank you very much. But yeah, see if you can do that, Rachel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Name him George. Aussie Tip Rat says George. George, maybe. Could be. I will call him George, and I will love him and pet him. Thinking of that cartoon or of Mice and Men or something like that. But anyway, let's get to the news. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I got a hair in my mouth. Yeah, hairball. Yeah, no kidding. Sorry. Jesus. That wasn't expecting that. Vinny Voodoo. I kind of like that. That's pretty cool. That's a good one. I'll see later what we got. If anybody's got any suggestions, again, we'll do the question of the week after this. So if you haven't been over there to answer the question of the week and you're already a member of the Discord, get over there and do that, and then vote on a name or suggest a name. Maybe it's Victor. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's Bob, Pete, Bill, Phil. I don't know. Your choice. All right, let's get to the news. This is, of course, throughout the course of the show, we utilize many different sites. And I realize this is kind of getting to be a canned thing that I say every show, but I really am sincere. I hope you guys will support these sites because these sites are incredibly well done. And I definitely want to support what they're doing. And I only ask if you guys please would visit these sites and check out some of what they have there. It's a huge undertaking to host a popular website. And if you get a reasonable amount of bandwidth, it's incredibly expensive. And so your traffic does help earn them revenue through ads and stuff that they place on the sites. So your support will help them keep the lights on, which will be wonderful, because it would break my heart if we lost any of these sites. So please support them as much as you can. You're already into the paranormal, so I'm just giving you some great resources to keep looking into this stuff, because it's really, each one of these sites is an incredible resource. So please visit them, support them, and if you leave a message on their message boards or comment on their pages, let them know the Paranormal Portal sent you. Little self-promotion. All right, so the first article tonight comes from the UFO phenomena, and this is one I've heard a couple of times in the last 24 to 48 hours. And the first source that I saw it listed on, I thought, oh, this has got to be some kind of campy clickbaity thing. I didn't even click it. I didn't even look at it. And I didn't look at it now, but it came up on unexplained-mysteries.com, which is the first article tonight, and is primarily our great news source. And this is: mystery drones swarmed U.S. Air Force Base for 17 consecutive nights. I don't know who would have the nuts to do that. Mystery drones. I can't imagine that somebody would just get your DJI Mavic drone and fly it into an airbase. Are you freaking kidding me? That's got to be a ballsy move. But let's see what's going on. Pentagon officials have been left stumped by unexplained drone incursions over restricted airspace. According to reports, the mystery drones were spotted in precise formations over Langley Air Force Base in East Virginia and in the surrounding area for 17 nights in a row back in December 2023. Wow, that's quite a while ago. I'm sorry, we're just hearing about it now. Why are we just hearing about it now? The formations include one or two fixed-wing drones flying around 100 feet up, while a large number of smaller, commercially available drones flew together underneath. Another even larger drone would also be seen scouting out the area beforehand at high speed. Despite their best efforts, U.S. Air Force personnel were unable to catch the drones, and they were also reportedly unable to shoot them down either due to federal laws prohibiting such action over U.S. soil. That's not good. The incursions were particularly worrisome because the area is home to numerous sensitive facilities, including Langley Air Force Base, Fort Eustis, and Naval Station Norfolk. Radar detection has also proved challenging because of the small size of the drones. As it stands, Pentagon officials remain unclear on exactly who is behind the incursions. It could have been curious hobbyists or a hostile foreign actor, but an analysis of the frequencies used to control the drones suggests that they were different to those used by off-the-shelf drone units. The incident echoes a similar incursion by smaller mystery drones over U.S. nuclear facilities 2 months earlier. We're just hearing about this now. Why are we just hearing about this? So exactly who is responsible for sending these drones, and what are they trying to achieve? Could China, Russia, or some other foreign country be using them to spy on U.S. Air Force bases? The search for answers continues. I don't know what to say. That's concerning that somebody could, don't they have some kind of EM weapon that could just zap them out of the sky, like microwaves, just like, okay, they're cooked. And then just collect them and do some forensics on them, find out where they came from. I mean, there's got to be a way that they can take these things out of the air. Not like, well, can't shoot them. Throw rocks at it, guys. Let's go. I mean, they got to be able to zap it with something. Don't they? Or if they don't, that's actually more concerning that the security over our high-end military bases is just that bad. That's definitely disconcerting. But anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? Big deal or just some idiot clowning around? I guess the frequencies are not normal. So it does suggest at least somebody with, I don't know, at least some knowledge It's not like just a bunch of off-the-shelf units, apparently. So you be the judge, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know anything about this until right now. And the fact that they were basically rolling around unchallenged is a lot concerning. I don't know what they would see necessarily, but the fact that someone's looking is already concerning. So I hope they get to the bottom of that. I don't know. I don't know what our intelligence apparatus is really like. You certainly hear the rumors. They know everything, but maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know much. I don't know. But I hope they get to the bottom of that, because that does concern me a lot. You don't want somebody just scoping out your base. Okay, where do we hit the missiles? Where should we aim those? Yeah, no, we don't want them to know that stuff. I don't know. Anyway, you be the judge. I'm just bringing you the news. So those are my concerns. I could be an idiot and very uninformed. But anyway, that's first story tonight, and an interesting one all the same. I seen that Antarctica door photo too. Yeah, I showed that one on the last show. That was pretty wild, Justin. That's pretty wild too. All right, let's get to the next news story, and this one is from the Archaeology and History Files over at unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one's kind of cool. It's kind of neat because they actually found something that's kind of akin to how it was represented in the movies, because from unexplained-mysteries.com, Archaeology and History, lost tomb unearthed beneath Indiana Jones filming location in Petra. Remember that for the search for the Holy Grail or whatever? Yeah, I remember that. Well, it says the discovery was made beneath the resting place of the Holy Grail in the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Archaeologists had announced the discovery of a long-lost tomb beneath the ancient city of Petra in Jordan, the filming location for the final scenes of the third Indiana Jones movie. While in the film, the location was the entrance to that final resting place of the Holy Grail, in reality, the more than 2,000-year-old city, which consists of buildings and water conduit systems carved from the area's distinctive pink sandstone, has nothing at all to do with the long-sought biblical relic. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's not to say that it doesn't have some secrets of its own, however, as the new discovery of a hidden tomb beneath the city is one of the most significant finds in the region for some time. Archaeologists, why am I looking up somebody's nostril? That's already bumming me out. That's distracting as hell. Archaeologists found 12 skeletons and a range of artifacts dating back over 2,000 years. Bizarrely, one particular ceramic cup looks almost exactly like the Holy Grail from the movie. Ooh, that's kind of wild. Did anybody drink from it? Just give it a shot. Why not? I think I might. What do you got to lose? The new tomb was found using ground-penetrating radar in an area near to other tombs that had been unearthed within the vicinity a few years ago. But because most tombs found in Petra are usually empty after being looted in antiquity, the discovery of a tomb with all of its contents still intact will offer archaeologists a unique opportunity for study. This is a hugely rare discovery in the 2 centuries that Petra has been investigated by archaeologists. Nothing like this has been found before, said Josh Gates, the host of the Discovery Channel's new series, Expedition Unknown, which will be covering the excavation. Very cool. Even in front of one of the most famous buildings in the world, there are still huge discoveries to be made. That's really cool. Expedition Unknown is a really cool show. I always enjoyed that. I like Josh Gates. I like what he does. Seems like a very genuine, good person, too. I think he sounds like an incredibly interesting guy. So he'd be fun to interview, actually, just to hear what he's got to say about some of this stuff. And I like that he's got his fingers into not only the paranormal Fortean topics and all that, but also this archaeology and mysteries and weirdness and wonders. I think this is all fantastic stuff. So, I'll be looking forward to that episode for sure. If I can find where the hell it's being shown. Probably on Discovery Plus, I guess, more than likely. But anyway, very, very cool. That's an exciting thing, right? I think it's cool when you discover some old stuff and it's new again. That's just my take on it. But anyway, that's the second article on tonight's show. Just looking at the chat. Mercedes Luck Benedict, how are you, my lady? Good to see you. I missed you. Good to see you. I hope everything's wonderful. You should interview Josh Gates. Yeah, believe me, I'd like to. But when you're trying to get a hold of people on, and I don't mean to distinct. How do I differentiate people from other people? But they do have like agents and stuff that you got to go through. It's not like you can just reach out and go, hey, Josh, send him a message. Because I tried that for a long time. Some of these personalities, like Amy Bruni, I was trying for a long time to get a hold of her. I messaged her on everywhere I could try and got no reply. And it wasn't until she did the Food to Die For cookbook and her publisher reached out to me directly and said, hey, would you be interested in interviewing Amy Bruni? And I'm like, well, yes, I would. And so that's how I got Amy Bruni on. But it's because the publisher reached out to me, which is really cool. And we had a great talk. They already showed both episodes on Discovery Go. Okay, thank you, Chris. I'll have to check those out. I didn't see. I haven't watched Expedition Unknown for about a decade. But I love that show. I really do. Mercedes says, I'm flying out to Bridgeport, Connecticut in the morning for defeating the demonic U.S. Well, very good. Have a safe journey. Excuse me. Hairball. And not that I spit out. I think I swallowed that one. All right. That's very cool. Let's get to the next article because there's two more. And this one is coming from the extraterrestrial files of unexplained-mysteries.com. And what is this? Well, let's figure it out. I don't even know. Oh, yeah. This one has George. It looks like George Knapp on the... I met George at Phenomicon in Vernal. Very nice guy. Just talked to him for a minute. He was mobbed everywhere he went. So I didn't want to be one of those groupie fan guys and be like, George, hey, George, come talk to me. But I did say hello and got a picture with him. So that was cool. Very nice guy. He took the time and we had a great few minutes there. But anyway, this article is from unexplained-mysteries.com. And it is new Netflix show Investigation Alien revealed in new trailer. And there you go. There's Mr. Knapp right there. And it says the series will see investigative journalist George Knapp delve deep into the mystery of UFOs and aliens. Are we alone? George Knapp, who spent decades investigating and reporting on the topic of UFOs and extraterrestrial visitation, certainly doesn't seem to think so. His findings will be the focus of an upcoming Netflix documentary series entitled Investigation Alien, which will be debuting on the streaming platform in November. In this gripping docuseries, legendary reporter George Knapp travels the globe to uncover new evidence about UFOs and investigate their presence on Earth. The synopsis reads, a preview of the show can be seen in a recently released trailer, which is viewable below. I'm probably not going to review that live here on the show because it's probably got music on it, and I'm going to get a copyright slap in the face. We need to go beyond that obvious question, are UFOs real, to what really matters, Knapp said in the video. Why are they here? We can handle it, can't we? I would agree. Absolutely. We're all ready for that. Let's just go. The trailer hints at investigations into various phenomena ranging from cattle mutilation to mass UFO sightings, and also sees Knapp talk to an alleged UFO whistleblower. Just how conclusive his findings actually are, however, remains to be seen. Investigation Alien will be streaming on Netflix from November 8th. So there you go. That sounds pretty fantastic. That's a great picture of like a boat with some kind of illuminated ring around it, whether that's under the water or reflecting off the water from above. Either way, that would be a terrible place to be. That's got to get you a little nervous. But I'm going to put a link to this in the chats, and you guys can check it out if you so choose. All right, it's in YouTube and Twitch now, and I'm going to put it over on Rumble here in just a sec. And you guys can check it out if you so choose. Barbara Moore is over on Rumble. Good to see you, Barbara. And Dog Digger's over there too. Good to see you. Good to see you. Digger Dog, I had to reread your message there because it looks like you said BB Brent. Am I your BB? I know you mean Barbara because she's over there because her name is BB Mora on Rumble. All right, so there you go. That is there. If you want to check out that trailer, please do, but do it after the show because I don't want to lose you. I don't want to let you go. I'm a little bit possessive about keeping you with me now. I have separation anxiety. Don't go. Maybe I need therapy, but in any case, it's fun to have you guys here. So stick around. We got a lot more to go to, and I think I got one more. I do have one more. I should practice good grammar. I know this language. I've been speaking it all my life. Anyway, let's get to this last article on the news, because there probably won't be news tomorrow night either. Can't hardly do most of our regular stuff when we got guests, so, which is fine. I love that. That's good. But again, tomorrow night we'll be joined by a guest. So I hope you like it. Paranormal Paul's going to be joining us here on the show. He'll be joining me for 2 hours of paranormal goodness. And we'll see what we can cover in those 2 hours. All right, here we go. From the world of the bizarre. And I saw footage of this on another source before. And it is weird. It's like, huh? And I don't know. Maybe it's a normal thing. I've never been there. I don't know what the situation is with strays and all that stuff. But according to unexplained-mysteries.com, the world of the bizarre mystery as dog is spotted on top of the Great Pyramid of Giza. There was a guy like ultralighting or parachuting or something. He's going down and there's a dog on top of there. Just like, hey. An unexpected tourist was recently captured on camera at the very top of Egypt's tallest pyramid. Given their step-like outer structure and impressive height, the Egyptian pyramids have become a bit of a magnet over the years for thrill seekers looking to climb right to the top, an act that is strictly forbidden by Egyptian authorities. Some tourists caught trying to climb up the walls have even received jail sentences or have been barred from entering the country altogether. Yeah, I guess I take that pretty seriously. When paramotorist Alex Lang was passing near to the pyramids on a recent flight, however, it wasn't a tourist that he spotted standing at the very top, not a human tourist at least. There, wandering around the topmost stones of the Great Pyramid, was a dog. He quickly ascertained that the animal was barking at some birds perched nearby, but it was unclear what had compelled the dog to actually climb all the way to the top in the first place. When the footage was shared online, it generated a great deal of interest, as well as significant concern for the well-being of the animal. As things stand, however, Egyptian officials have yet to comment on the incident. You can check out the footage of the dog for yourself below. And this is from IFL Science. Hope it doesn't have sound, but let's check it out. Let me pull it up here a little higher so you can see it. Yeah, it's got it muted. So there it is. Let's see. There he is. There he is, having a power gliding adventure. That's got to be cool, though, to be just soaring above the pyramids like that. Very cool. Getting closer. Move it along. Here we go. There's the dog right there. How about that? 136.4 meters tall. How'd that dog get up there? I mean, maybe it's easy. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to climb those things, but that's pretty crazy. There's the dog again. All the way on top. Good luck putting that one in the clink. I don't think they're going to catch him, but there you go, folks. Unusual. But there's a dog on the Great Pyramid somehow, some way. Like I said, there could be tons of strays around there. Who knows? And a pretty good catch, really, because the dog's about the same color as the blocks. So that was it kind of blends in. But there you have it. You thought you saw everything, but you were wrong. So was I. I was wrong too. But that has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I hope you learned something and have some interesting stories to bring with you through the rest of your weekend. So let's get back to the rest of the show. Find out just what the hell else is going on in the world. All right, let's go. All right, Rachel says, Brent, I set up the Voodoo voting in Discord and episode discussion. Thank you, milady. I appreciate that a ton. I do. Thank you much. I appreciate that. That'll be fun. It'll be fun to see what people say. So the way it's going to work, ladies and gentlemen, Rachel, rather, sorry, I don't know why I said Sarah. Rachel's got it set up in the episode discussion thread on Discord. And all you got to do is just go in there and either like somebody's name that they gave or provide your own. And then whoever gets the most likes or votes or, they will win. And I don't know what they're going to win necessarily. Maybe a t-shirt. Maybe the winning entry might just win a t-shirt. So we'll see. I think that's fair. Yeah, a t-shirt. We'll give away a t-shirt to the winning suggestion. All right. There's some motivation rather than just, I'm not going to waste my time. Well, if you want a shirt, you might waste some of your time. So I will provide a t-shirt to the winner, whoever recommends the name that gets the most votes. It has your photo with the doll for inspiration. Well played. Well played. I like how you think. So there you go. Head over to Discord and give it a vote, or either vote or give it a suggestion, and maybe you could win. If you already want a shirt, though, please just vote on somebody else's suggestion. I don't want one person winning like 15 shirts or something. I want everyone to have a turn, Don't name it Sheldon. No, I don't want you naming it after my kid. It's got a needle stuck into his chest. So I'd rather it wasn't quite that personal. Let's keep it something else. The needle's right by the heart there. Right by the heart, see? I don't know if you can see that. There's a pin stuck in it. Isn't that cute, though? Freaking adorable. I would even snuggle with him. He's adorable. All right. Don't name it Sheldon. Don't name it Sheldon. That's not an acceptable entry. It's just that whole, don't taunt the universe in such ways. I don't want Sheldon having pains in his chest suddenly like, what's going on? Ow. I get a cramp. Don't do that to my kid, huh? All right. Anyway, let's see. Speaking of Discord, I guess we can get to the next segment. I actually have to launch it here. Hold on a sec. I got a little work to do. Because I just realized there's probably not going to be an opportunity tomorrow, so we're going to do it right now. And I am speaking, of course, of the Discord question of the week. And voice sounds familiar. What voice? Which one? Rents Network? I don't know. Oh, did you watch that video or something? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what you mean there, Dog Digger. Or who's that? Oh, that's Pritchard Wally. Pritchard Wally. Nice to meet you, Pritchard Wally, over in Rumble. I don't know. What voice are you speaking of? Let me know. Are you talking to some of the voices I've made or what? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm so confused. All right. Anyway, that's the story of my life right there, folks. Okay, well, we're going to get... Rachel had popped right up on that. See, your screen grab is brilliant. Gotcha. All right. Let's get to this. Mr. Puns. Mr. Puns, the voodoo doll. So yeah, again, if you come up with a name and it wins the most loves or likes or whatever, then I will award the winner a t-shirt. We'll leave that up for a while, but vote, but don't like multiple vote. Well, I guess you could, if you like one name or more than one name, I guess you could vote them all, whichever ones you like, and whomever wins. All right. Let's get to this segment, which is going to be dealing with it. And there you go. There's the Discord server. And Rachel actually did a screen grab. That's so brilliant. Excellent. Oh, I just realized I forgot something. I forgot to turn on the bones. Oh, he's talking about my Homer Simpson voice. Oh, yeah, Homer. No, thank you. That's my Homer Simpson impression, yeah. I got you. Okay. I got you. Yeah, I do Homer Simpson. Not professionally, just here on the show. But, yeah, you know how it goes. It's nothing I can get paid for, unfortunately, because somebody's already getting paid for it. But maybe it is. Maybe that's Brent's Golem. Golem is the best. Jesus. I can't even do it. Taters? What's taters, precious? What's taters? Sorry. But it could be Homer. You never know. I don't know. Anyway, let's go with the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen, because it is time. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, the Discord question of the week. It is now time to dive into this. This is our Discord server, and this is the thread we're talking about, the episode discussion thread here on the left side. And if you click on that, you can get into this and go ahead and vote. So far, we got Felicia from Annie Manul. It says, Felicia, maybe this is a girl. It's got a bow tie, though. It seems rather masculine, but it could be a girl. And then we got Mr. Puns. Possibly. Mr. Puns, the voodoo doll. Could be. Could be. Anyway, make your vote and or make your suggestion. Hi, Wizard Moon. Good to see ya. Good to see everybody. Grandizer, good to see you as well. Thanks for coming in, brother. No, there is a show tomorrow. It's not that it's just that I got a guest joining me tomorrow here on the show. So we're probably just going to be having a 2-hour discussion about all the weird cryptids and strange paranormal stuff that we can pack into 2 hours. So we're going to do that tomorrow instead. So I'm doing the Discord question of the week today because I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss this opportunity to dive into this. So this is the Discord question of the week thread here. So if you ever join, you'll be brought into the general tab. And if you're not really familiar with Discord, there's a Discord tutorial thread here that Sheldon made. Sheldon is Boonabar in here, just in case you didn't know. But when you first join, you'll be here and your name will come up. And there you go. What is this? Absalom Cat and I watching and chatting with Lon Strickler. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Lon's show is usually on Friday night, so that's awesome. I'm glad you tuned in, Barbara. Wonderful. Helping to support Mr. Lon in his endeavors. He's a great guy. It's been a mystery since I found him 12 years ago. I think I'll keep him. Who? Absalom Cat? You found him 12 years ago and now you think you'll keep him? Well, it was quite a decision period there. I guess you were on the test drive for 12 years. But we're looking at the question of the week tonight. And this is where we ask you guys a question, and special thanks again to Mr. Chucky Danger, who keeps putting this out. Every week, Chucky brings us a new one. And yeah, we're going to do monsters and cryptids today. Right after this, we're going to do the rest of the show. We're going to go right to the rest of the show with it. What time is it? I've been yapping a lot. Let's get into this. The Discord question of the week. With the recent devastation from the hurricanes in the Gulf, so much of the landscape has been leveled or flooded. If Sasquatch and other cryptids in the area are truly flesh and blood, now would be the opportune time to recover a body for science. Do you think as recovery efforts and cleanup in the area happen that a cryptid will be recovered? Great question. That's certainly been the stuff of legend. Like after Mount St. Helens blew, there's legendary tales of powers that be recovering Bigfoot. I don't know. You have to look into that. It's quite a thread of stories revolving around that from Mount St. Helens back when it erupted. Luna Moonicorn comes in first. I said, I think that if they're flesh and blood, they're probably more attuned to nature than humans and would have moved to safe areas well ahead of the hurricanes. I tend to agree. I suspect that prior to the hurricanes, opportunities for sightings were probably higher as they would have been traveling great distances to safer places. I'd be shocked if anything unusual recovered would be reported, probably whisked away to some secret lab. Yeah, if they do find one, we're probably not going to know about it, or they're not going to make sure we know about it anyway. Play Nendo Gaming comes in next, says, I personally think that one of the reasons that civilian rescue missions are frowned upon is that civilians might discover things that the government doesn't want out in the public. Breaks my heart. Well, that's a good take. Maybe. I mean, there's certainly the danger aspect of, going into some of these places and, with maybe roads that could wash out at any moment or other hazards that, they don't let you go into a previously burned building and dig around either because the building could collapse or something. So I think there is safety concerns as well, but you're right. I mean, maybe some of it is just, you're not going in here because we're not sure what's here yet. Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit agreed. I think he might be agreeing with Play Nendo. I'm not sure. Cryptic Chaos comes in next, says, I don't think so. I think they have a better sense for safety than us. If other animals can sense weather changes, I don't see why they would be able to, why they wouldn't be able to, and get to safety sooner. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Prior to the tsunami and stuff, people were in Indonesia and Japan, people were noticing that the birds were all acting crazy and going to higher ground, and many animals were observed moving up on the hills. And then, of course, the tsunamis hit, and so they seemed to sense it long before it came, and that's very true. I think the natural world's pretty attuned, and they know this stuff is coming in a lot of cases. Not always, but I think generally speaking, they know to get out of harm's way. John T comes in next. I said, I believe some portaled out and others sensed time to get out of Dodge, but maybe some didn't get the memo and succumbed to, so maybe the bodies will be found. Unless we find them, you won't know. Yeah, exactly. We probably won't know if something is officially recovered. It'll just get scurried away somewhere where people aren't. All right, Annie Manul comes in next, said there could be bodies of Sasquatch, and probably are. Would they be in place where they could be easily found? I don't think so, because they avoid human habitation. People are busy fixing things where humans need it, and that will take months and months. Would they be scavenged by alligators and crocodiles? You bet. For all we know, they eat their dead too. Humans do this, and cannibalism may be why we don't find their bodies. Furthermore, Sasquatch is scarce on the ground. The chances of finding a dead one are very small. I don't think they'll be found because of these reasons. There's just too much going on post-hurricane. Fair enough. Good thoughts. Yeah. And then we got Elastic Machinery here. That's a great name. Elastic Machinery. I think they're checking for the radiation levels, the specific organs taken. What is this about? Cattle mutilations. Oh, okay. This is he went back to the question before, but I guess we can read it. It's about cattle mutilations questions from last week. I think they're checking for radiation levels. Specific organs taken are known to be checked for radiation. I feel like there's a possibility of pre-flood breakaway civilization. They would have high technology from fallen angels, manipulated bloodlines underground, and anywhere in the sky before the first Van Allen belt, masquerading as whatever pushes the agenda of unreality. Lies. Interesting, Elastic Machinery. And if ever there's a spare shirt, I'd be interested. Well, if you come up with a name, Elastic Machinery, for the Voodoo doll, you could win it. We do giveaways generally every month here on the Discord as well for our members, so you certainly can enter those as well. I still got shirts to send out from the last round. But I appreciate that for sure. But the newest opportunity to win a shirt is naming the Voodoo doll from Sinfully Wicked. Barbara Mora comes in next. Great question. I do think a skunk ape will be found in Florida because of the increase in powerful hurricanes in the Gulf, and I hope that fine goes to Marie Dumont. Yeah, Marie's a sweetheart. She's a wonderful person. Meet her every year in Vernal. She's just such a wonderful lady. We sit down and chat for hours. She's wonderful. Hallelujah Goat comes in next. I think he would have packed his bags and come straight up to Canada. It's quite a haul, especially on your feet. Utah Sam comes in, not on our side, not on our side, not by us for our signs. I remember when I was researching and reading anything I could to find out about the Mandela effects, one guy had been researching some of the more recent things were like physical, like stone, brick, quartz that were being affected. It was like our stories. Our shows, our video, our books, and things could be easily jankied with or affected, but he was trying to explain or prove how or why things like our stones were being changed. I think this is back like when like monoliths were coming down everywhere, and it was kind of a one-hit wonder person, and he was quickly erased, but it's stuck with me since then. Okay. Devin comes in next, said that what's interesting is hearing that you would get arrested if you were caught outside in it. Could be possible that our government would want to hide any possible sightings of things they don't want the public to see, whether it's cryptids, weather manipulation technology, or something supernatural being exposed during or after the hurricanes or other disasters, but who knows? Yeah, good God, could you imagine? Rachel tops it all off here and says, I think Bigfoot probably hid away far from any areas that flooding had swept away any body, so chances of finding a body would be very low, as would any other cryptids in the area. Yeah, I think there's merit to the idea that they're kind of tuned in. They know to get the hell away when weather events are coming. I mean, animals pick up on this stuff, and it's not just the really smart ones. It's just something built into them. They know, oh, something's coming, get the hell out of here. And it's true. It's been observed before a lot of natural disasters or bad weather storms and stuff, that animals move out, that barometer changes, and they're already moving away. They just know. They just know. So anyway, very cool question and wonderful responses. I appreciate you guys taking the time. And again, make sure to stop over here and check out the episode discussion thread. John T says spike. That's kind of, I kind of like that. John T says spike. Spike, because he's got a spike. It's right there. The little pin sticking out next to his heart. It's a spike. Yep. That's not a bad name, Spike. I mean, they're all good names. Everybody's names are wonderful. So you guys vote, and the winner gets a shirt. The winning name will get a shirt. If you like a name, give it a heart or like of some kind, and this will qualify as a vote. Name with most votes wins a Portal t-shirt. T-shirt. Smiley face. There we go. Now it's official. Now I'm committed. I should probably be committed. With the sudden loss of lives. I wonder if paranormal activity will increase with the sudden loss of lives. It's possible, certainly would be possible. I don't know if that stuff is instantaneous or if it just happens over a period of time, but that's a great question. Could certainly. Could raise energetic levels around, I don't know, with all of that trauma in one area or one region. It certainly could. But anyway, this has been the Discord question of the week. Thank you guys for participating. Special thanks to Chucky Danger for coming up with another wonderful question for us. Keep an eye on that thread, because every week Chucky's doing more, so don't miss it. There we go. All right. There we go. We went through the Discord question of the week. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another incredible journey into the creatures. Because this is a creature feature tonight. And by God, we're going on a journey here. And we're going to start it out right now. Are you ready? You ready for some Bigfoot fun? Well, we're going to the right place for that. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this. Sasquatch Chronicles. All right, folks, here we go. That's such a good transition. Thank you again, Grateful Owl, for that transition. That is awesome. She made that, folks. She's been doing that kind of stuff for a stitch. I like that, Talowich. That's a good name, too. There are some stitches involved. There are definitely some stitches involved, so that's a good name. All right, Squitter Hyena. How you doing? Good to see ya. And hello to everybody that's here. No Bigfoot, please. Other cryptids, please. While we're starting here, we'll probably hit some other cryptids, so just pay attention. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I got a whole grab bag of creatures pulled up, but we're going to start here at Sasquatch Chronicles blog, which is on SasquatchChronicles.com. Check it out. There's a ton of stories over here and things. What up, fellas and fillettes? Jesse, how you doing? Thanks for coming in, man. All right, we're going to get to this one. This is the first from Sasquatch Chronicles. We'll do a couple of these. And this is from October 18th, which is today. So I got to thank the Ghost Box for coming up with the doll thing, because that's what started this whole doll. And then I remembered we got the doll. And then I remembered we asked for a name, and now we're giving away a t-shirt to the winning suggestion. So that was a great suggestion, Ghost Box. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. If it says you're welcome, I'm probably going to poop myself. But could you imagine? It goes, you're welcome. All right, let's get to this. This is from October 18th, A Strange Skinny Bear. This is a brand new one that Wes just posted. Special thanks to Wes Germer for letting us use these stories on the show. These are emails that he gets that I like to pull up because they're just excellent. They're really great. These are all people's experiences. Seeing something they don't understand, or maybe they do, but they want to talk to Wes about it, and I think it's fantastic. All right, let's get to this. A listener writes, well, the first encounter happened in 2021 on June 4th at 6:45 a.m. Oh, that's pretty concise. I was heading south to a funeral at sea for a childhood friend of mine. Oh, that's sad. I was on 41 in Tamiami Trail in a 2014 Kia Hybrid, and I stopped at a rest area, an old one with the picnic tables and no facilities, just to stretch my legs after 300 miles and smoke a cigarette. Doesn't smoke in his car, apparently. My husband and I, or she, I guess it's a she. My husband and I got out and lit up a smoke. And I remember it was quiet and creepy because the sun was just rising. And we hurried to get back in the car and just keep going south towards the Keys. There was no traffic, and I told my husband, let's go. I don't hear any cars coming, and I don't want to get pulled over by a cop if I happen to pull out in front of one as I'm leaving. So I pulled out on the road and gunned it, and my husband fell back in the seat that he had been sleeping in all the way down, and suddenly I saw a big, tall, skinny bear. And I said, I see a skinny bear 3 times to my husband, who never sat up to look at it. It was black in the rising sun, and it was on the side of the road walking to cross it. Oh, wow. It took about 5 steps, and then it finally heard my hybrid car, turned around toward the RT, the right, and walked back away from 41. I couldn't get Robert to sit up and look at it, so he didn't see it. As I approached where it was on the side of the road, I told him that I wanted to look for a car or a cooler or some sign of a person when I drove by where it disappeared into the woods. Nothing that we saw as I slowed to a crawl and looked slowly driving past the spot. I never once thought it was a Sasquatch because I just didn't believe in them until I got home up in Central Florida and I went on YouTube and watched some videos on them. Then I said, wow, I saw a Bigfoot. I think the second encounter is way scarier because I stood less than 15 feet from it over 10 seconds staring at whatever that was with two giant yellow eyes, 12 inches apart, that I was trying to figure out what that was when it stepped behind an oak tree and hid from me. And I ran into the house screaming. I've seen a lot of wild animals, but none of them have ever hid from me before. Oh, that's pretty fantastic. Huh. 2 sightings. That's incredibly rare, but very cool. Yeah, darn husbands. Yeah, exactly. Come on, Richard, sit up. Jesus, let's have a look. It's a skinny bear, for God's sakes. Get up. Lazy bastard. Anyway, Richard missed it, but it sounds like she's kind of got a whole magnetism thing cooking there. Like she saw one on the road and then saw one at home. Yikes. Well, let's go to the next story. This one is also from Sasquatch Chronicles, and then we'll go on to some phantoms and monsters. All right, this one's from October 17th. The way that it was gliding when it ran. A listener sent me her son's encounter, and she writes, my family booked a holiday getaway for Easter weekend, March of 2018, at the Greer Lodge Resort and Cabins in Greer, Arizona. We rented a cabin along with another family, friends of ours, who rented the cabin next door. And we were planning a getaway for our boys to relax and do some fishing. And the scenery was fantastic. There was still some residual snow in certain areas, as a storm had just been through the weekend prior to the Easter weekend. And on our last day, Easter Sunday, the men were packing up the vehicles and getting everything loaded. And my son Owen, who was 8 years old at the time, had a sighting of who he thought was a person who just ran by in a Yeti costume. Jeez. He told my husband and our friend who were just outside, but as they were trying to get everything packed and loaded, both men just kind of blew him off. And he never really brought it up or thought much about it afterwards. It was not until we were traveling to Phoenix for a baseball tournament when we were listening to one of your episodes that he recalled his sighting as the person on your episode was describing how the Sasquatch moved and the way it was built. You could say that this was a trigger for a memory that he had put off for years and never thought to question until he heard other people's encounters. He stated that the Sasquatch he saw was white, which gave him the idea that it was some kind of Yeti costume, but as my son recalled, the way that it was gliding when it ran, and its build was that of no human nature. He is more than willing to share his story with you if you are interested. It's also interesting that a lot of people equate white with the Yeti, even though, I mean, honestly, the Yeti are often viewed as brown or black in their hair color. It's not really the snowman of legend. I'm sure there's white Yetis too, but I think they're about as common as white Bigfoot. You know, they may be out there, but generally speaking, the Yeti is when it's observed is often black, or at least like traditional colored Sasquatch. So it's not a common sight. Yeah, white Sasquatch is heard of. Yeah, it is. Squid or hyena. It sure is. So there we go. Those are 2 from Sasquatch Chronicles. And I have more, but I'll save those for another day. And we're going to get to some other stories here, because I want to get to some from Phantoms and Monsters. How are we doing? It's 8:09. We might, I don't know, could come back, but I guess we can do a few Phantoms and Monsters stories. Let me see what I got here first. All right. Grandizer, you don't want no Bigfoots? Well, buckle up, brother, because I got one pulled up just for you. Actually, I got a few odd creature things pulled up. And I'm just looking at the next few of them. Yeah, I've got a few different ones here. So you should be happy with this, Grandizer. All right, the first story, again, this is phantomsandmonsters.com. This is Lon Strickler's site. Lon does an amazing job. He's been at this for decades. He literally is a pillar in this community. He's been at it for a long time. Phantomsandmonsters.com is a home of thousands of different encounter stories. A lot of different creatures and cryptids and strange phenomena stuff up there. ghosts and aliens too, and other strangeness. So you're going to find something for everybody there. No matter what you're into, you can find some resources on phantomsandmonsters.com. So I encourage you to check it out. Lon's books that he's published are on there listed, as well as information about his research teams that he works with around the country, looking into a lot of these Fortean topics and researching, including the Mothman and Dogman and so much more. So check it out. And you can find information on his podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, which is also a YouTube channel, as was noted earlier with the screenshot, that you can find him on YouTube. And you should. Lon streams every Friday night as well, and he has great information. And he's a great guy, so check it out. Okay, let's get to this. First story is from October 2nd, 2024. Mermaids, Sirens of the Caribbean, or Caribbean. I forget which one it is now. We had that gentleman on from the Caribbean. I think it was Caribbean that he said that they pronounce it Caribbean. Yeah, I mean, you don't hear a lot about mermaids. It's kind of sparsely reported, if it's happening at all much anymore. But every once in a while, sightings and reports still come in that even I see. And I'm not actively looking for them, but I bump into them. But thought this was great. So Lon says, mermaids appear in the folklore of many cultures worldwide. But I wanted to concentrate on those beings reported by the explorers of the New World. Christopher Columbus and the other seafarers reported seeing mermaids while exploring the Caribbean. Columbus reported seeing 3 female forms which rose high out of the sea but were not as beautiful as they are represented. The logbook of the infamous Blackbeard records that he instructed his crew on several voyages to steer away from the charted waters, which he called enchanted for fear of merfolk or mermaids, which Blackbeard himself and members of his crew reported seeing. In some instances, they were said to move inland by way of rivers and streams, creating the opportunity for humans to catch a glimpse of these legendary beings. Yipe, I said, I nearly slid into the river while trying to cross on some protruding rocks. Now, it was by no means a roaring river, but I readily admit I'm no river crossing expert. It was my first time in Haywood Hall, St. Mary, after spending the first 20 minutes desperately trying to strike up a conversation with a woman who offered little more than a blank stare and an intermittent shake of her head. I decided to go exploring on foot. It seemed it had rained earlier that day, so the roads in the community, which over time have denigrated to nothing more than glorified footpaths, were all muddy and slippery. It was while crossing a small bridge near a community bar that I met Ornell. Now, Ornell is not big on conversation, but he did offer to tell me a secret about the river that runs through the community, if I'd be willing to treat him to a drink at the nearby bar. That'll loosen up some lips. Me brain really wake up yet, you know. After a drink, me start function. Me could tell you something about the river, but not a word until me get the drink, he said. Before I could respond, Ornell continued. Me live about the place from longer time, you know. Haywood quiet, but the river ya have a whole heap of mermaid, he said, looking pleased with himself. I paused for a moment. Was that the secret? I asked. Yeah, man, he said, quite casually. I paused again. I pointed out to Ornell that he had given the secret away before getting the drink. The man's face went blank. But me, he stuttered. I felt bad for him, so I interjected, telling him it was fine and offered to treat him to a drink at the bar anyway. Thank you, man, thank you, said Ornell, looking relieved. After a short walk, we were at the bar, and it was really just a shed with a fridge overlooking the river, but it had a nice atmosphere. Ornell signaled to a girl sitting on a stool near the fridge, and she handed him a bottle of beer. I walked closer to the river. The river run right across the road further down. Ah, nice. river fi bathe in. Me bathe in it about 3 times fi the day. I don't know. Me just throw off me clothes and jump in, he said. Eager to avoid a more detailed description of Ornell's bathing rituals, I asked him about the mermaids he mentioned earlier. Yeah, man, nuff mermaid. When me was lickle, me used to see whole heap of them, said Ornell. Ya think a lickle man mermaid pull in a the river with them. Them mermaid, they not easy, he added, shaking his head. Now, if I'm to be honest, I had very little confidence in Ornell's story. I was surprised, though, when the woman behind the counter at the bar suddenly spoke up. "It's true, you know," she said, adjusting the zipper of the sweater she was wearing. "My father tell me about it from me was lickle. Dem say is one mermaid was there, and she dead now. But first time you used to see her all the while," she said. I had a puzzled look on my face. "True, true," the woman said. "Dem say is the mermaid that used to the flat bridge swim come here because it more quieter. Me never used to believe it, but dem me say, so much people couldn't just make up the story so," she said. I looked across at Ornell, who was nodding in agreement. "As Granny say, what no go so, nearly go so," he said. I don't even know what that means. So the Caribbean mermaid is next. The mermaids, also known as merfolk, and sometimes referred to as scaly tails, are human fish hybrids. Many are said to serve as agents of the sirens, dragging sailors down to a watery grave. The mermaids are amphibious beings, a hybrid of humans and fish. The average mermaid has the appearance of a beautiful girl with long flowing hair, the colors of the sea, and pearly white skin flecked with scales from the waist down. However, a mermaid is comprised of a long shimmering scaly tail. Further undermining their conventional beauty, mermaids hide sharp, fang-like teeth in their mouths. It's possible that this beautiful appearance is not the true form of the mermaids. If viewed peripherally, they lost their outward beauty and seem to transform into creatures with clawed tentacles, fangs, and barnacles and boils covering their scales. They often speak in harmony, singing a melody commonly attributed to the sirens. The mermaid and the comb. Many Jamaicans grew up hearing stories of the river Muma, or mermaid. There are many legends surrounding these beautiful sirens, and the most commonly known as River Muma involves a Rio Cobre River. Legend has it that on moonlit nights one may be lucky to catch a sight of her as she sits on a boulder and combs her hair with a golden comb. In other areas of the island, it is said that for one night every year the mermaid leaves her underwater home to visit the surface. If frightened while combing her hair, she would dive into the water, leaving her comb behind. And it's believed that anyone who finds it will become rich. Wanting the comb to be returned, the mermaid would approach the finder in a dream and direct them to the treasure underwater. The treasure, according to folklore, is said to be gold left by pirates who had forgotten the hiding place. The following anecdote was told for several years. In an old district in western St. Mary, a very strange thing happened. 15-year-old, thank you very much, Elvis Smith's mother had taken ill. It was her kidneys, the doctor said. There was no money for dialysis, and the kidney transplant was out of the question. There was just no money. It was when Elvis saw his mother getting weaker that he thought that the pirate's treasure could save her life. So he determined in his mind that if there were a mermaid, he would find her. And if there were a comb, he would take it. And if there were pirate's treasure, he would find it for his mother's sake. Despite his mother's protestations, Elvis built a hut of plywood and zinc just below his house at the riverside overlooking a rock, and he had picked out the rock because he calculated that if a mermaid surfaced, that was where she would sit. There the river was silent, expansive pool, and further up the river was fast moving. It cut into the rocks and cascaded down and down until it came to a narrow section from where it seemed to just trickle into the pool and became silent. Boys dived under rocks there to catch fish, shrimp, big black shiny ones, and small, almost transparent ones. Further down, the river narrowed again and became a fast-moving once more. Standing over the section of the river was a massive white concrete bridge. The bridge, they said, separated St. Mary from St. Anne. So while everyone in the district celebrated the coming of the new year that night, Elvis climbed into the little hut he had made. He thought that if the mermaid were real, then he would not leave there for a long time, and so he took up residence at night in the little hut. His 12-year-old sister he mandated to care for his mother at night. 2 weeks into his vigil, Pastor Lincoln came to convince him that the mermaid and the comb were only folklore, brought from Africa by slaves and modified through the ages, but Elvis was not convinced. He said, "If it is a myth, by New Year's Day next year, I will know." Elvis' cousins and uncles and aunts came to him, telling him to stop this foolishness and go sleep in his bed, but he remained unmoved. And when that still didn't work, they destroyed the huts, but he sat in the cool air outside that night, watching and waiting, and when the whole district combined couldn't get him to stop his vigil, they left him alone. Elvis rebuilt his hut, and night after night waited for the mermaid. But she didn't come. February, March, June, July, no mermaid. Elvis looked up at the moon and saw that it was almost in the center of the sky. He thought it might have been up for 4 hours or so, and by that deduction, he surmised it was around 10 p.m. It was a cool September night. The frogs were croaking, the crickets were scraping, and Elvis' relentless determination was still intact. He yawned and was about to go into the hut when he heard a swoosh, and then a splash. Then in the moonlight, he saw her. She was seated on the massive stone. Her hair was dark and silky. He couldn't see her face, but her great tail, she curled up and rested on the rock too. She was combing her hair. Elvis thought of running to scream in the district that he had seen the mermaid, but that wouldn't save his mother's life, he thought. I'll have to frighten her. So he stole past the star apple tree and floated over to the soft mud near the water's edge and shouted, "River, Mama!" The mermaid dived quickly in the water and was gone, and there it was, the comb, golden and lovely. The moonlight lent mystery and magic to it. Elvis was hesitant. Should he take it up? But why not? He'd slept in the cold for 9 months. Why then should he not take it up? And how then would his mother's life be saved? Well, he quickly grabbed it, as if he thought it might disappear, but when he examined it, he saw that it was old and ugly and wondered if it was the right comb. He looked around. Perhaps the golden comb was near him somewhere, but he saw nothing. He went to his little hut, located a bag he had placed in there in January for this very purpose, and he put the comb in it. And then he climbed the hill to his house, rushed to his mother's room, shook her, and said, "Here it is, Mama. Mama, your life will be saved." But his mother was groggy and asked, "What are you talking about, Elvis?" "Mama, I found the mermaid's comb. Here it is, Mama." But she turned over under her side, curling her feet so that her knees and elbows almost touched, and she clasped both hands and laid her head onto them and quietly said, "Elvis, I really feel tired." "So you don't believe, Mama?" By this time his sister had awakened and come into the room. To her, Elvis said, "Here it is. See, the mermaid's comb." He brought it up to Nicole's eyes for her to see. "You believe, though, Nicole," he said, and then he saw the look in her eyes. He shook his head with disappointment and said, "So you don't believe me either, Nicole?" Finally he asked, "Where did you get that old comb, Elvis?" She embraced him and said, "Let us agree that you're really tired, Elvis. Good night." His feet felt weak and his gut had a strange tingle to it. They didn't believe it. They just didn't believe it. But when he found the treasure, they would have to believe. He went to his bed with great anticipation that night, and he fell asleep with a smile on his face. For he had reasoned that night he would have the dream revealing the place of the buried treasure. And his mother and sisters would believe. But that night no dream came. He got out of his bed and dragged himself out to the road and wondered what was happening. He told his cousin about the night's events, and by noon, 7 or 8 boys were at his house demanding to see the mermaid's comb. "Show with the comb." "Nobody going to see it," Elvis said. And the boy says, "He has no comb. A lie, him a tell." Elvis thought of rushing to the hiding place to show them he had the comb, but one boy said, "Oh no, come ya, a lie, him a tell." That night Elvis went to bed with hope and believed that he would have his dream. In his dream he saw the mermaid, her face ugly and scared and angry. And he was standing by the river and she was threatening him, telling him that if he didn't return the comb, she would wash their house down the river. And he saw when she dived into the water and lashed her mighty tail against it, the water rose and almost swallowed up the house, and he woke up frightened. In the morning he rushed down to the river and saw that some of the land had actually washed away. For a week he had a dream every night, and every morning he would rush down to the river and see that a piece of land had been washed away. And it was then that the people started to wonder if Elvis really had the mermaid comb, if true. By the start of the next week, they had come to believe, and they started to exhort him to return the comb to the mermaid. Pastor Lincoln came again to convince him to give back the comb and save his mother's house. "Your father dead left that house for your mother, and if it going to be yours when she went, and you using your own hands to mash it up, boy. Now where you hide the comb?" Elvis' mother and sister, too, begged him to throw the comb back into the river, but he had one thing to say to them all, that the mermaid had not kept her part of the bargain, and that he was going to keep the comb until she did, because his mother's life must be saved. And it was Sunday afternoon when it happened. The whole district had come to see how the little boy make mermaid mash him up him father dead left the house. The men had helped to take the furniture out of the house, and Elvis' mother and sister were out of there too, watching the last of their house come down. But Elvis was nowhere to be found. Then the people saw him coming up from somewhere in the bushes, and they said, "Say you fool de?" Elvis came with the old rusty comb in his hand, and the people said, "Then is really the comb that?" Elvis came and stood on the bridge, and he held the comb in his hand for a while, and then threw it in the river, and the people said, "It's too late for that." And then with a mighty sound, the house came crumbling down. The debris fell down at the riverside, and some of it was washed away. And then from close beside Elvis, one little boy shouted, "Is what that?" And a man said, What? "See it there," the boy said, pointing, "something like a trunk." And they saw it and hurried down to the river, and it was not one, but 3 chests. And when they finally got an axe to break the chain and open one chest, they held their collective breath, for it was like a dream. In the chest were glorious things, great jewelry and gold, and things they didn't know. And the man who had asked the little boy, "What?" said, "The treasure was buried under the house. The mermaid has given us the pirate's treasure." The people looked at him strangely, and he rephrased his statement. "The mermaid has given Elvis the pirate's treasure." Then the people held Elvis aloft and sang, "For he's a jolly good fellow." And Elvis went to his mother and said, "Now you can get your treatment properly, Mama." So it's kind of folklorish, I guess, but I don't know. Is there any merit to it? I don't know. It's a cute tale, though. All right, the manatees, the real mermaids of the Caribbean, to the sailors of earlier Caribbean explorations, imagined the excitement of not only discovering the New World, but also that it had mermaids. Surely this was a blessed place. What a great sailor's tale would make on the tall ships and in the seaports of 16th century Europe. So what if they were a bit ugly? In fact, so ugly that only a mother could love them, but they were gentle. And they didn't talk back or shoot arrows like the native people either. Today's manatees are an endangered species in the United States and are a protected species in all the Caribbean as well. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, there is no doubt that maybe the manatees were part of the legend source, but I don't know. There weren't manatees out in the ocean. They're in fresh water, right? I don't think they're in the oceans. Maybe they are. Maybe they are a saltwater animal. I thought they were freshwater, though. I don't know enough about manatees to really have an opinion, but there you go. That's some mermaid tales for you guys. It's not Bigfoot. For those of you that wanted something different, but I got more different. I got more because I got gnomes. Gnomes and Cardinals from phantomsandmonsters.com. This one's from October 16th. It's a newer article that Lon posted, and I was like, ooh, cool. I like these little people stories because I think, again, this is another one of those phenomena that's a global phenomena. There's reports of these diminutive humanoid creatures all over the globe. Different disparate cultures everywhere across the globe have these tales of these small people. Of course, the Homo floresiensis in Indonesia, and the possibility that there still may be surviving bands of them in the region. And I think there probably is. The reports of them are not still reported in tribal areas of Indonesia, of these small diminutive humanoids, some of which could be orang pendek, which is probably an offshoot of orangutans. Probably, maybe. They're supposed to be little hairy creatures that run away with their arms over their head and stuff. And so it sounds very similar to orangutans. But perhaps there's other things. Little hobbits, if you were. Stupid hobbitses. You never know. Could be. I don't know. Water cows. Yeah, Brandy Copeland says water cows. Yeah, that's what I remember that. People do call them that. I'm a grateful swimmer. Barbara says, I'm not a, oh, you mean graceful or grateful? Very cool. All right, well, let's read about gnomes because, my God, we don't get a lot of these articles, so this is kind of exciting. Gnomes and cardinals, spiritual messengers? Let's find out what it says. Following the death of his mother, the witness describes his encounter with a gnome with a cardinal on his shoulder and another incident possibly connected with his mother watching over him. The following account was forwarded to me. My mother passed about 10 years ago now. She was always spiritual and claimed she had a connection with her twin sister. I believe that. On her deathbed in the hospital, she had one of those moments of clarity and focus where, despite being on a respirator and pumped full of Dilaudid, when the whole family was there, she sat up, opened her eyes, looked around the room, and said she was always going to watch over us. Told us not to worry that Grandpa, her father, was there. The dog and cat we had and her sister, she had passed decades before from an allergic reaction, laid back down and coded. Doctors and nurses revived her, and that evening she passed away in her sleep. About 4 years later, I was walking through a local forest preserve path, and it cut through the trees on a gravel trail. I'd walked this trail numerous times before, but something was off. There were no sounds. Not the nearby roadway nor the stream. It was just quiet. I just stopped to take it in, looked off to the side in the forest, and I swear I saw a 3-foot-tall man or gnome with a long gray beard and a knurled wooden staff. A bright red cardinal was on his shoulder. My mother loved cardinals. I felt the warmth come over me and just turned and walked back down the path. That night after dinner, I had a bit of back pain, took some Tylenol, and just chilled out. A few hours later, I had a really bad back pain and was struggling to breathe. Told my wife, and she drove me to the ER. Checked myself in and ended up with a severe bilateral pulmonologist embolism, and about 70% blockage. Well, I spent the night in the ICU being monitored, and in the morning was moved to a regular room when they were confident I was stable after giving me a shot of blood thinner. Well, they kept me another day, so I was sitting in the room and looked out the window, and I saw a bright red cardinal sitting there. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me or whatever, but I believe someone or something was watching over me that day. I didn't know who the tiny man with the cardinal was. Lon has a note here. It says, some believe that cardinals are sent from heaven to deliver messages from deceased loved ones, or just to offer protection, guidance, and love. As far as gnomes, spiritually, they're said to be deeply connected with the elements of the earth, and they represent the essence of nature, often believed to communicate with plants and animals as protectors. They were thought to ward off negative energies and create safe, sacred spaces. This makes them important figures in various spiritual practices where they are honored for their grounding and nurturing energies. Oh, that's fantastic. I did know some of that, but not all of that. That was great information. Thank you, Lon. That's a great additional information there. I like the stories of gnomes. I really do. I think they're pretty fantastic. I had a peregrine falcon visit yesterday. That's awesome, Annie. Cardinals are loved ones visiting. Sinfully Wicked said, yeah, I think so. I think sometimes as butterflies, for me, I always find that I love it when I see dragonflies. To me, dragonflies are really great. I know I've shared it on the show before, but I had a really cool experience with dragonflies once. And I'm sorry for those of you that have been here. It's like, oh, he's going to tell the dragonfly story again. Yeah, I'm going to tell the dragonfly story again. But I think I've always loved dragons for whatever it's worth. And I know that in some observations, dragons are considered evil, but dragons traditionally were considered a connection between heaven and earth. They were considered like a bridge, or, a figure that would represent the connection from the heavenly realm to the earthly realm. And whatever that is, or whatever you believe, is fine. Of course, we certainly know the biblical references to dragons are much less flattering, but I'm not embracing evil. But anyway, I love dragonflies because, well, I think they're great. First of all, they eat a lot of crap that I don't like mosquitoes and biting flies and things like that. So I'm obviously going to love them. But anyway, my friend and I had gone to his parents' cabin. We were both about 18, maybe 19. We went up to his parents' cabin by ourselves. We drove up. It was like a 3-hour drive from the cities, Twin Cities, where we lived, up into northern Wisconsin, around an area called Spooner in that region. And we were up there, and it's a small little inland lake. And his parents' cabin was right on the edge of it, his dad's cabin. So we went up there, and we're just hanging out. We were going to have a weekend away. So we got up there, and it was a beautiful summer day. And we got up there, and we're all hot, and we're like, oh, let's go for a swim. Usually the water is pretty cold because it's a spring-fed pond or lake or whatever, but it was actually pretty decent because it was so warm that summer. So we jumped in the water and swam out to this floating, like a floating dock. It's just a platform out there on barrels, and we climbed up, and we're sitting there in the sunlight and just gelling out, sucking in that warm sunlight, and just in a beautiful moment, just relaxing. And a swarm, I'm talking about a swarm of these big ass horseflies showed up. And these are about the horseflies in northern Wisconsin and in Michigan too, I was attacked by them there too, are about the size of a nickel. They're a huge freaking bug, and when they bite you, it really hurts. They hurt. If you've ever been, there's the black biting flies, which sting like a son of a gun, but they hurt. But these horse flies are like painful. They are miserably painful, and we're just getting mauled by them. I'm like, oh no, we just drove 3 hours to get up here, and this is just wrecking everything. And we're sitting out there just trying to swat them away or whatever, and trying to hope, that they would move on. But man, they weren't going anywhere. They were just feeding on us. And we're in swimsuits, so we don't have shirts on, we don't have pants on. We have no coverage, just swimsuits, and we're just getting blasted by these damn things. And we were just about to phone it in and just go, all right, screw it, let's just swim back and be done. And then suddenly this swarm of dragonflies came. And it was just perfect. I mean, we were so bummed out because we had just gotten there. We were in our moment, and these flies just came and destroyed it. And we were just miserable, just in pain, and they hurt. And these dragonflies came, and it was just crazy because it was like air-to-air combat. And one by one, these dragonflies were grabbing flies out of the air, eating them, and then coming back and grabbing more. And in a period of just a couple of minutes, maybe 3 minutes, every fly was gone. And then the dragonflies dispersed and were gone. But like they all came together, like, I don't know, like some nature spirit was going, oh, screw that, here's some help or something. I don't know, it was crazy, but it was a true story. It was really cool. So ever since then, I've just loved dragonflies. Like, yeah, that's awesome. So air potato chips. It was like they were grabbing chips out of the air or popcorn or something. It was crazy. But they would be flying by with a big old horsefly. And these are the big dragonflies. You can see them nibbling as they're flying by. It's like, yeah, eat that bastard. You know? Kick their ass. You know, I mean, I was just cheering for these dragonflies. So true story. But I don't know. It was just something answered. Something answered because we were just so depressed that we had just driven 3 hours in the hot sun. We got there. We were all hot and sweaty. And we dove in the water. It was so refreshing. Got out to this floating platform, and we were just in a blissful state. And then those horseflies came, and it's just like, oh God, and they're huge and they hurt. And then the dragonflies came and saved the day, and then it was perfect after that. We stayed out there for hours after that. It's like, oh great, never got bothered by another horsefly. It was beautiful. What a story. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Ruthie. Good to see you, Ruthie, by the way. Thank you for coming in. Those flies are here in Michigan, and they do bite hard. Yeah, they do. They really do. They're miserable. When they bite you, it's like it hurts a lot, and it's like you get this chill through your whole arm when they bite you. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know what they do, but their biter is so painful, and then you actually feel like a chill spread from it. It's just horrid, terrible. So that's a true story. But that's the gnome story, along with some information about gnomes and cardinals. I didn't know that cardinals were supposed to be messengers or visits from deceased loved ones, but I will say that I think that deceased loved ones probably show up in whatever symbol was resonant to them or would resonate to you in relation to them. There was one story that I caught on some show where this mom had died. And she loved robins. She loved robins. And the son went to her grave and was really distraught. I mean, she wasn't long dead, but then a robin sat on her headstone, landed on her headstone, a beautiful robin, and started tweeting and singing. And he had it on video. And you could hear this guy just sobbing because that was such a beautiful moment for him. He knew in his mind that was his mom saying, I'm good. I'm good. Everything's fine. So I love those. Good day to everyone. Hey, Aussie Tiger, good to see you. Good to see you. So that's the gnome story. What else do we got here? Let's see. Shape-shifting witch people. How's that? Attack. Shape-shifting witch people attacked. Saved by an ancestral spirit. Now this one may be less cryptid, but I mean, shape-shifting witch people is kind of like the Skinwalkers, which is pretty cryptid. Cryptozoological or something else. But anyway, we're going to cover that now. And this is a new story. I just pulled this one up. I was like, oh, Lon, way to roll. I love that Lon posts so many of these things every day. And he posts them to Paranormal Portal fans Facebook group. And I just think that's so cool. So if you want to catch up on what Lon's doing, stop by the Paranormal Portal fans page on Facebook. All of his stories, as he posts them, he puts links on there, and you can certainly follow those links and then visit Phantoms and Monsters. But you can become a member of that page. It doesn't cost you nothing. You do have to, answer a couple questions just so I don't get a bunch of bots and stuff. But it's a good little community and wonderful people there as well. Let's check this out. Native Diné Navajo relatives are driving through the reservation at night when they encounter coyotes and owls along the way. Fearing evil, they are saved by an ancestral spirit. I received the following email from a Navajo woman from Arizona. This happened like 15 years ago when I was 17 years old. I was with my sister, her husband's sister, and 2 cousins who were brothers. And we were driving back from Cortez, going through the mountains near Steamboat, Arizona. It was late at night, and we could see ahead of us was darkness and tall trees. We're in a medium-sized white pickup truck. I was sitting in the front with my sister and her husband, while the others were sitting in the truck bed. All of a sudden, a coyote ran in front of us. We started to say a prayer. This was considered bad luck. And we continued driving for I don't know how long when 3 more separate coyotes crossed in front of us. We were starting to become frightened. Then right after the last coyote crossed, we started seeing owls. Owls are very bad luck because this means that someone in your family will get hurt badly. It's a Navajo thing. Well, we saw 6 owls altogether. The weird thing about that was there were 6 of us. Oh. The night grew darker and longer, but we were near home. We pulled over for some reason, so I jumped in the back, and one of the cousins got up front, and not soon after that, we were like 5 minutes away from the house on a dirt road, and we can see the house, and we were going like 30 miles per hour, when all of a sudden, something big and black jumped in front of us. We hit that thing so hard that the front of the truck crumpled up from the side to side. We realized what just happened. We got out of the truck to look around. What was that? What was weird is that this thing jumped out on the right side of us, but there was this big fence blocking that whole side of the road. We went to check out the front of the truck, and we looked around and saw no evidence that we hit anything other than the damage to the truck. We tried to get the truck started, but it wouldn't turn over, and only one headlight was working, so we shined the light out there trying to see whatever it was that we hit. We couldn't find anything. No footprints or blood drops anywhere. From the distance, we started hearing 2 people laughing and whistling, running around us and hiding in the shadows. We knew that these were witch people, and we just started praying in Navajo. 15 minutes went by and they were still laughing, an evil, scary laugh. Then one of the cousins decided to run back to the house to get help since we were not far away. And while we were waiting, we noticed that we could only hear one person around us. We were scared and didn't know what was going to happen. Then in the distance, we saw the truck lights turn on and heading towards us. We were so happy. The cousin that went to get help told us that he was being followed while heading towards the house. He said he could hear the person running in the shadows near him. He also said that when he was running by an empty water tank, you can hear its laughter echoing off the tank. And when we got back to the house, we called the police. When the police officer showed up, we told him what had happened. He told us to take him where it happened. The truck was still parked there with one headlight on. He used his flashlight to look around for whatever it was we hit, but he couldn't find anything. No footprints walking off. I mean, we hit that thing so hard that it should have died, but we just couldn't find it. And while we were telling the police officer what happened, we just got this strong sense like he didn't want to be there. Well, we didn't either. The following day, we called in a medicine man to have a prayer ritual done. And while we were in the Hogan, he was reciting his prayer. He was using his crystal to see what happened the night before. He told us that he saw all 6 of us lying around the truck, dead and disfigured. He said the thing was an ancestor spirit that saved us from certain death from the witches. When we stopped the truck, we had interrupted their ceremony, and that had angered them. They shapeshifted and chased the truck on our way home, and the spirit caught up with the Skinwalkers and stopped their intended attack. I will never forget that night. Yikes. That's pretty intense. Yay. Well, there you go. I'm just looking at these other links. The Book of the Navajo, Meditations with the Navajo, Prayer Songs, and Stories of Healing and Harmony. This is all stuff that Lon posts. This is really, really cool. So there's always similarities that are available there. But very wild. Again, I don't really know what skinwalkers are, but whatever they are, they don't seem to like people much. And they seem to have a pretty deep, profound hatred for the regular folks, the non-shape-shifting folks, I guess. It is interesting, again, that, shape-shifting is not unique to skinwalkers because it's talked about in many shamanic traditions around the world. And I don't know how that works. I often wonder about that. Like, how does that work? Is it possible that somehow we all, maybe intrinsic to our physical / spiritual nature, could transform? I don't know. Again, those are the things that are tough to get your head around, because I do have a logical side. So how does that work? Well, I suppose when you think about it, all matter is energy on its most fundamental level. So maybe the fact of transforming or transmuting that energy isn't as profound as we think it is, but we're stuck in our own paradigm, and what we don't believe is possible becomes impossible. So maybe that's my own hurdle. I don't know. But it's interesting stuff to think about. I wonder if witch people are regular people who are witches or a race of their own. I'm a Tidewater native, so unfamiliar to me. Oh, that's a great take. Are they a unique branch of human beings, or are they just like us, but they took a path where they were able to achieve that ability somehow? And I don't know. It makes you wonder, though. Maybe it's just like in Harry Potter, there's the wizards and witches, and then there's the muggles, non-magic folk. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's something inherent in certain branches of people. Perhaps. I don't know. These stories are not new, though. They're as old as cultures around the world. Certainly Africa, witch doctors, certainly shamanic traditions in many countries. The ancient wizards and witches were said to be able to transform. There's Japanese versions of transforming people, and Chinese and other countries. So it's not unique to the Americas and to the First Nations. Maybe it's like forming a shell around our body like a tulpa, but an outer form over the body. Yeah, that's a great possibility. Again, a lot of esoteric magical traditions, and I've talked about this a little bit on the shows just as a reference, but there's evocation and then there's invocation, and those are two very different summonings, basically. When you evocate, there's a ritual to bring a spirit into your presence, or to bring its energy into your presence, or its protection, like you evoke the angels of the Lord to protect you, or whatever. That's an evocation. But an invocation is the idea of taking the energy of something into you, becoming strong like the bear, or fast like the lion or cheetah or whatever. That's kind of an invocation, is asking to be imbued with something or draw a presence into you. A summoning of a spirit to draw it into you, or a deity, or some other energetic presence. But that's an invocation. So it's maybe the transformative or the metamorphosis is kind of the next step after an invocation. I don't know. Interesting thought, whatever it is. And I don't pretend to know. But that's a great thought, Rachel. That's pretty fascinating to think about. That's why she gets it right. This earth can be a scary place. Yeah, absolutely right. Good to know. And evocation, E-V-O-C-A-T-I-O-N, evocation and invocation. So it's not envo, but it's evocating. Evoking and invoking. Those are two different ways of summonings. So, yep. But interesting stuff all the same. And again, I guess through the course of doing this show and doing these journeys into the potentially impossible or suggestedly impossible stuff, that it's maybe not as impossible as we've been led to believe, because in all of this stuff, we're being confronted by the impossible, which is obviously possible. If you see an apparition, that's an impossible thing. If you see something move, that's an impossible thing. So, but it isn't, is it? So what else is possible? And maybe it's shaped by our ability to perceive it. There's a lot of ideas that, magic is a practice of imagination, of manifesting, is kind of what all spells and all that stuff are meant to do, is manifest. So, anyway, this could spiderweb into 15 different conversations. So there's a lot to know, but anyway, it's all interesting. All right. So remember, you go over to the Discord. If you have an idea for a name for our new little mascot to the show, little voodoo doll from Sinfully Wicked, if you got a name, suggest it in the episode discussion thread on Discord. If your suggestion gets the most likes or, hearts or whatever, the most reactions, positive reactions, don't put some crap on there that looks like you hate it, because then I'll think, oh, you didn't like that name. But whoever gets the most votes basically is going to win a t-shirt. So come up with a name for this little guy here. Little voodoo doll. Take a look at that. Isn't it cute? I do kind of like Stitch, though. He's got these stitches on his mouth, keeping it closed, and the belly button stitch and the stitches on the side here. And then some stitches on this side. Poor guy's been through hell, and he's brand new. And he's got a cute bow tie, little blue bow tie. So, all right, come up with a name. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. I'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll leave it up maybe till next Wednesday, and then we'll pick a winner. So your vote matters. You could win a shirt. I mean, come on, you could win a shirt. So what's not to love? That's your motivation and your inspiration to get involved. Cost me money, but by God, you guys are worth it. You're worth it. All right. I've already won a shirt this year, so I'm not going to enter. You don't have to enter, but you can still vote. If you like one of the names somebody posts, Aussie, you can certainly do that. Vote on one of them, help somebody else win a shirt. Whatever one you like the best. If you like more than one, click on both of them. But whatever one gets the most votes is going to win. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I ordered a shirt and a decal, patiently waiting for it to show up in the mail. Oh, very cool, SoCal. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That helps. That helps a bunch. And any way you guys can help, I really appreciate. Again, I know things are tight for most of us, so don't feel compelled to become members or to order stuff or whatever. I don't want you to do that, but at least like the streams, at least suggest the streams to people you know or groups that you're in. Put links in there if you can, and I'd appreciate that kind of support. There's lots of ways to support the show. Not all of it is monetary. So your love and support means more than anything to me. And the fact that you're here, being a part of the shows is amazing. So thank you guys for being a part of my journey as always. And just know that I love y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. Going to have Paranormal Paul on here with me. I'm going to be on his show first, so I'll post a link to that when I have one. and watch the social media Facebook page for a posting of that. If you want to tune in and join the audience, that'd be fantastic. Help support what he's doing. Dunk the like button. You got it, Squitter. Slam it. Slam it like it's a bill collector. King. Don't you miss those phones you could slam down? Those were great. You know, if only for that, so that you could just let people know just how pissed you were. Just be like, ping, and you hammer it down. And those things were made of like concrete. You could beat the hell out of them, slam them in the wall. Are you hearing me? It'd be like a hammer. Driving nails if you ran out of a hammer or something. Yeah, they were great. Thank you, SoCal Squatcher. Appreciate it. Can we suggest more than one name? Sure. Why not? Why not? Just whatever name gets the most votes. If you want, we got more than one idea, put it in there. That's fine. Perfect, as a matter of fact. So anyway, that's all we got for you tonight. We're going to see you tomorrow night. I hope you guys join me and Paranormal Paul as we go through tomorrow night's show. We don't usually have guests here, so this will be fun. It'll be good to have a guest with, usually it's guest hosts, co-hosts, but now it's going to be, I guess he's going to be co-hosting with me. He'll be a co-host, but I'll be focusing on him. He's going to be in the hot seat because I got to be in the hot seat for his show first. So absolutely. That's all I got for you guys. Take care. Good night. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll be back tomorrow night on the show. And special thanks to the Ghost Radar for reminding me about the doll. That was good. That was a great addition to tonight's show. So I appreciate that. Some spiritual entity maybe suggested that. Very cool. All right, guys, that's all we got for tonight. Love yourself and your fellows. Drink water. All right. Okay, if you say so. Cheers. All right, everybody. Good night. That's all it is. That's the show. I'll see you tomorrow night. Be good. Take care of yourselves. Until then.